Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer. I'm with Oculus Rift Reviews. Today we're going to review and play 3DSenVR, a game by Geode Studio released on June 4th, 2019 on the Steam store for the HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, and Windows Mixed Reality. You can use your motion controllers, and there's two games especially where they're very effective. That would be Hogan's Alley and Duck Hunt, so I chose to do those two games. However, you can also use your motion controllers as a gamepad for other games like Super Mario Bros., Legend of Zelda, Metroid, Mega Man, Castlevania, Contra, Donkey Kong. There's a whole list of games on the store page. And this basically, as you've guessed it, probably just by watching the video, this is an NES emulator, but the games are brought to you in full 3D and allows you to play it in VR. You can use a controller. I was using my Xbox One controller for Legend of Zelda and Super Mario Bros., and it worked perfectly fine. I thought the menus were a little clunky to navigate with the controller, but with the touch controllers, it was pretty seamless. And so that's why I chose to showcase Hogan's Alley and Duck Hunt, even though they're probably not the best games. I actually remember playing Hogan's Alley and Duck Hunt, and I thought they were amazing. I had the light gun, and I love playing these games. But now playing as an older person and just have childhood memories, I'm like, yeah, these games weren't as good. Although I still had fun playing Super Mario Bros. And Legend of Zelda. Because of Nintendo and what they do, I've decided it's just better to stick to Duck Hunt and Hogan's Alley. As far as showing off gameplay. Plus, like I mentioned, it's the best way to show off the motion controllers. I like the 3D graphics. You can actually move the screen closer or farther away. I left it at the default here. I probably should have moved it farther back just to make it a little more challenging. I think by leaving it at the default, it made it a little too easy. I started off with pointing my gun directly at them. I had forgotten how to play this game, and it took me a while to figure out, you know what, I need to actually holster my gun to make it more challenging. And it was actually more fun once I holstered my gun. And then it just became, you got a split second to pick your target. And I hadn't played this game in such a long time. I didn't really pay attention to the rules. I should have paid more attention to the pictures shown earlier in the main menu for the game to know, when to shoot, when not to shoot. And I was just doing a little split-second delay that was really costing me, so I didn't get very far in the game. You do really have to pick your targets fast and shoot quickly. But once you get the hang of it, it's not too difficult. Like I said, I probably should have adjusted the screen to move it farther back. You do that by pressing grab. I think right grab takes it farther away, left grab brings it closer, or maybe it's the opposite. You can also rotate the screen so you can make it leaning back or leaning forward as far as the screen. Tilt it forward or tilt it back depending on what you enjoy. 3DSenVR does not come with any ROMs or any games, so beware of that. You do have to bring your own ROMs. Luckily for me, I had already owned these games. Yes, the original Nintendo was my first console, and I love playing Duck Hunt. I love playing Super Mario Bros. Super Mario Bros. I probably played more than anything else. I wasn't as good at Legend of Zelda. I was a pretty small kid, so I wasn't very good at games. So I remember getting stuck on Legend of Zelda because I found it very difficult. Games back then weren't very forgiving. Although Super Mario Bros., if I remember correctly, I actually managed to beat that game. If I remember correctly, although I might be completely wrong on that. After so many years, who knows if what you remember is actually reality. I do know I didn't get very far in Legend of Zelda. I can tell you that much for sure. And I found Duck Hunt challenging. I don't know why. But now playing it, especially in VR, seems pretty easy. So I definitely should have. And Hogan's Alley seems pretty easy in VR. You really got to move it farther away to make it a challenge. And I did that for Duck Hunt. I actually moved it much farther away to make it somewhat of a challenge. I enjoyed playing this game. I thought the 3D was done excellent, about as good as can be expected for an emulator. About the only complaint I have about 3DSenVR is I wish there were more titles compatible with it. So this is early access though, and the developer has mentioned he does plan to bring more games compatible with this. So I look forward to that. Although the list of games currently is like my dream. If I could get all these games, that would be awesome. These are the games that I grew up with, and yeah, great, a lot of good memories for me. Duck Hunt, I love that game. I played it probably a little too much. I don't know why. It's very repetitive now playing it, but it's relaxing, and like I said, I moved the screen farther away, and it definitely brought the challenge. And I eventually do lose after quite a few rounds. If you bring it closer, though, it makes it super easy. So don't do that. You'll take away all the fun from this game. And definitely holster your gun, your light gun. Having it ready is kind of like cheating. So definitely, I holstered it. And I had fun. Brought back lots of memories. I do recommend this game. Just with the content it already has, I think it's worth the $20, especially given the 3D effects and the VR. So doing that for these games probably took a lot of effort on the part of this developer. And I'm not a developer, so I don't know everything that went into making the game, but I do know that he has been very picky as far as making sure the textures look correct in 3D, and I'm sure that involved a lot of work to translate these games into 3D, although probably not Duck Hunt. Probably Duck Hunt didn't take a long time to translate to VR. But yeah, it's fun, and actually I said it didn't take a lot of work, but I'm sure getting the light gun to work with the motion controllers did take quite a bit of programming, but it works perfectly fine. I was able to aim down sights perfectly well. It seemed to work exactly as expected, probably even better than the actual light gun. The original light gun had some issues, so this one seems to be perfect. So yeah, I do recommend this game. My favorite games from this era is Castlevania, Metroid. I love Galaga and Pac-Man, and I love to see those translated to the NES, even though those were, basically Atari games or arcade games at that time. I don't know that Super Mario Brothers ever made it to the arcade. I always remember playing it exclusively on the NES, and I played that game probably more than any other game. And I don't think I've played any game more than that in my life. It's one of my favorite games. I wanted to show off the gameplay for that, but like I said, I'm kind of scared of Nintendo and copyright claims. I'll probably get one for Duck Hunt, since it's a Nintendo title. But I had to show off the motion controller and the light gun. I'm not sure there's... by the way, you can save your progress, so there's lots of save slots, so you can play a game, you can save your progress, and then you'll start off right where you left off, so that's great. And again, you do need your own ROM for each of the games that are listed. Only those that are compatible you can play, so be aware of that. So look at the list carefully, see that there are games that you actually will enjoy. And I think it's a great deal for the current price. I never thought this day would come where I would get to play these games again, reimagined for VR. And Duck Hunt and Huggins Alley was probably never better than the translation to VR with the motion controllers replacing the original light gun, and it's much better in my opinion. Even though the gameplay obviously is now dated, and these games do tend to get repetitive, but that's why you have Super Mario Brothers and Legend of Zelda and Metroid and Mega Man and all that, and Castlevania to keep you entertained, get that old school challenge, but definitely get a gamepad for those games. I'm not sure that using touch controllers or motion controllers is a good idea for those games. Anyways, I'm Fast Lawyer. I'm with Oculus Rift Reviews. I got a free Steam key through the Steam Creator Connect program to review this game, but I highly recommend this game. I'm not sure if a score is necessary. Either you're interested in this or you're not. So I say if you have legal ROMs, this is a must-buy because you're playing your old nostalgic favorites translated to VR in a way that you've never seen before and in a much more pleasant way. In my opinion, I definitely like the levels in Super Mario Brothers a lot better in 3D than the original Nintendo. I don't know if you remember those old CRT TVs that we had, but they didn't look very good. I think some of us remember the past was rose-colored glasses. Definitely the translation to VR is much better than the original. So we get the same gameplay, and for me it felt exactly the same. I didn't notice any difference at all, but just as a different viewpoint and a better viewpoint in my opinion. So congratulations to Geode Studio. I do highly recommend this game, 3DSenVR. You can download the demo for free. I will put a link in my video for the demo so you can try it out for free. And yeah, I'm Fast Lawyer. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye. Enjoy the rest of the video.